Hey, what's up, Vince from the Guy01, and welcome to this week's versus episode on Rock Your Channel. This week, it's Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, so I'm just going to jump right in. So this is our weekly birthday versus. We had a few birthdays this past week, starting with Shayna Baszler's birthday on August 8th. She turned 44. One day later, August 9th, was Alexa Bliss' birthday. She turned 33. And then today, August 10th, is Wade Barrett's birthday. He turns 44. We also had a passing in the wrestling world yesterday. It was revealed that Kevin Sullivan had passed away at the age of 74. And for those of you who may not know who Kevin Sullivan is, not only was he a wrestler in like the 80s and 90s, he was also even better known as a booker for WCW. He was the guy basically writing the show for WCW during the days of the early NWO days, really the peak of the NWO days. That stretch of time when WCW was beating WWE in the Monday Night Wars, that 83-week reign, Kevin Sullivan was the writer during that time. He was the reason that WCW kind of made that turn to more adult content and less gimmicky, which is kind of ironic when you consider his, Dungeon of Doom gimmick that he was doing roughly at the same time, or shortly before. He was the guy who really wrote a lot of the early NWO stuff, and was the guy behind that shift to more mature content, especially compared to what WWE was doing at that time. So a very important figure in WCW and also just wrestling in general. So, SummerSlam was last week. Didn't mean to do that, but okay. I meant to just skip the intro, I didn't mean to jump in. SummerSlam was last week, and there was a lot of stuff to talk about with that. I said last week that this year's SummerSlam was very interesting because there were a lot of matches that were very up in the air, and it was hard to predict which direction WWE was going to go with a lot of them in terms of outcomes. So LA Knight beat Logan Paul to become the new United States champion. Yeah, that was one where it was pretty clear, what WWE was going to do there. I mean, they had to have Logan Paul win. I mean, not Logan Paul. They had to have LA Knight win. Braun Breaker beat Sami Zayn in order to become the new Intercontinental Champion. That was one where it was pretty up in the air what was going to happen, because, WWE is obviously pretty high on Braun Breaker. But, Sami Zayn also really just won the title, ending Gunther's record-setting reign. So you'd think Sami would have held it a bit longer, since he just beat, he broke the longest, he ended the longest Intercontinental title reign of all time, so you'd think his reign would be pretty substantial itself, but yeah, it's only about 4 months, if that. So that was a bit of a surprising outcome. Ow. 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 Aha. Nia Jax beat Bayley to become the new WWE Women's Champion. Again, that was another one that was a bit of a surprise. Once again, I thought Bayley would have held the title for a bit longer. But now we're in this interesting point where, Nia is the champion, and, her ally, Tiffany Stratton, is Miss Money in the Bank. So we'll just have to see how long it takes for Tiffany to, her lust for gold, leads to her betraying Nia. But Natalia, what do you want? Uh-oh. Oh, no, you don't. Gotcha. And then we had Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan for the Women's World title. This was a match that had a lot of intrigue as Dominic Mysterio was at ringside and ended up becoming a key factor in the outcome when he actually double-crossed Rhea Ripley and assisted Liv Morgan in retaining her Women's World title. He ended up leaving the show as he exited the arena with Liv Morgan. He kissed her right in front of Rhea Ripley, who was not happy. Which, that was an outcome that a lot of people saw coming. A lot of people saw Dominic, double-crossing Rhea and aligning himself with Liv. So that one wasn't a huge surprise. I will say it was a bit shocking to see them actually keep the title on Liv, though. I thought it might be a bit different where, yeah, Dominic double crosses her or interferes on behalf of Liv, but then Rhea still ends up winning. So it was interesting to see Rhea actually just not win the title. Oh no. Ah, get off me. Ref, what are you doing? You're kind of just stuck there. Ow. Hey, get off me. No. Ref, what are you doing? Ah. Oh, hi, Natty. You both are kind of just standing there. Ow. Okay, I'm going. I'm running. And then we had CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. It was a very good, hard-hitting match. That then saw CM Punk attack Seth Rollins, hit him with the go to sleep. This gave Drew McIntyre the opening to beat CM Punk. And now it seems that CM Punk is now going to set his sights on Seth Rollins. At least that's what it seemed to be, but we'll get to that later. It should be noted that this was CM Punk's first one-on-one WWE match in over a decade. As his last singles WWE match was before the 2014 Royal Rumble, as he walked out of the company the day after the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. And it's his first real singles match since, his Royal Rumble win. Or not Royal Rumble win, his Royal Rumble match at the beginning of the year. Which is so crazy to think that, dang, we missed so much. We missed 6-7 months of CM Punk matches because of that. It's like, dang it. And then we had the world title match between Damian Priest and Gunther, which again ended in more interference when Finn Balor cost Damian Priest his victory and allowed Gunther to actually beat Damian Priest to become the World Heavyweight Champion. So now we've had two portrayals in Judgment Day with Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest being at the blunt of it, or getting the blunt of it. And also, that was another one where, like I said before, it was actually pretty up in the air what direction WWE was going to go in. Because like the Sami Zayn Braun Breaker match, you could tell that WWE is very high on Gunther, but you'd also think that, they're putting a lot of effort into legitimizing Damian Priest as a legitimate champion. So again, it was it's weird to see him get such a short title reign. And I think it was also pretty surprising to see Gunther go straight from losing the Intercontinental title and then immediately becoming World Heavyweight Champion. That happened very quick, I feel like, but very deserved, and you can tell they want to strike while the iron's hot. Gunther is on a roll right now, and is like one of the most over acts in WWE right now. So, and one of the most legitimate, in-ring competitors from a, again, from a legitimacy standpoint. So yeah, make him your world champion. That'll work. And then we had the main event when Cody Rhodes defended the undisputed Universal Championship against Solo Sikoa. No one's going to remember the match, but everyone's going to remember the end of it when Roman Reigns made his return, his first appearance in WWE since losing the title at WrestleMania 40, where he then took out Solo Sikoa with multiple spears and helped Cody Rhodes beat Solo Sikoa and retain the Universal title. Yeah, so no one's going to remember that match, but everyone's going to remember that return from Roman Reigns. And again, it's just funny how much his career mimics The Rock, where they tried to, they tried to push him as a, pure good guy, and the fans hated him for it, and basically booed him more than any bad guy. Then they finally made him a bad guy, and then the fans started cheering him because he was the cool bad guy. And then he returns, still technically a bad guy, but is getting bigger cheers than anyone else, and bigger reactions than anyone else. It was just so funny to see that parallel happen with Roman Reigns, and basically have the same thing that happened to The Rock happen to him. Because man, when he returned, I mean, part of it was because, when people criticize how, what's the word? Rarely, it's not rarely, but infrequently Roman Reigns showed up these last couple years. But you know what? It obviously worked, because now whenever he does show up, it's a big deal. And it gets people talking. People look forward to when he does show up. He's now a spectacle. So, obviously it worked. It wasn't all bad, because now people care about Reigns more than ever. Is she gonna choke slam her? Okay. Wasn't sure what was gonna happen there. Ow! Aha. Gotcha. So yeah, a lot with SummerSlam that happened this year. A lot of title changes, which is surprising. People often complain about how little stuff changes at certain events, especially like the Big Four events with title changes. This one was very surprising. I mean, we had 4 titles change: U.S. title, the Intercontinental title, the World title, the World Women's title, and the Men's World title all changed hands, which is a lot for one show. No. I'm gonna have to finish this one quick. Ow. Okay, run. Alright, moving on to Raw. Randy Orton came out, interrupting Gunther's world title celebration, revealing that he is the #1 contender for the world title. And he will challenge Gunther for the world title at WWE's next event, which is Bash in Berlin, which will take place in Germany. The reasoning behind it was that Orton basically they acknowledged the controversial finish to their King of the Ring final, where you could argue that Orton didn't actually lose. And they basically said that's why he was the #1 contender, which was a smart play on their part, to address that and not just try to ignore it. Sheamus beat Ludwig Kaiser. Lyra Valkyria faced Shayna Baszler. The match ended when Sonya Deville and Zoe Stark attacked Lyra Valkyria to cause a DQ. CM Punk called out Seth Rollins. The two of them had a confrontation. Drew McIntyre then came out. This then led to CM Punk chasing off Drew McIntyre, leaving Seth Rollins to get attacked and taken out by Bronson Reed. Now, it would seem that this would then lead to a feud between Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed, which, would allow CM Punk to focus on Drew McIntyre. But then the news came out that Seth Rollins is injured and will be out for an extended amount of time. Now, this is believed to not be a new injury, but just a holdover from previous injuries, which, yeah, makes sense. I mean, I feel like he came back from injury very quickly. I mean, after WrestleMania, it was announced he was injured after WrestleMania, and it was said he's going to be out for a while. It was said he was going to take some extended time off, was the quote, and he came back only after like a couple months. So maybe this means he's going to be gone for a bit longer. We'll see how long this time. The New Day faced the Authors of Pain. This match saw the return of Odyssey Jones as he took out Karrion Kross and provided the distraction that allowed the New Day to beat the Authors of Pain. Now, they didn't really hint that Odyssey Jones was going to be like replacing Big E in the New Day. He was just more of an ally with the common enemy kind of thing. And I hope they don't try to make him the new Big E, because that, I don't know, it just won't feel right. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller beat The Miz and R-Truth. Damian Priest faced JD McDonough in his quest for revenge against the Judgment Day. This then led to Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan, and Carlito coming down and causing and interfering in the match, causing a DQ. This then brought out Rhea Ripley, who helped Damian Priest fight off this new Judgment Day, calling themselves and joining forces as the Terror Twins, as they're now called. Io Sky beat Sonya Deville, and then the Wyatt Six beat Chad Gable and the Creed Brothers in their in-ring debut, which is something that I thought was actually going to happen at SummerSlam. So, I don't know, it was a little weird that they saved it for Raw, but it was cool to see them actually get the main event and be given a good amount of time to actually wrestle, and not just have it all be very gimmicky. While it was very gimmicky, they were given the opportunity to actually just wrestle in between the gimmick part of it. Moving on to SmackDown, not really a lot of matches. The Street Profits beat Grayson Waller and Austin Theory to set up a finals match to determine the number one contender for the tag team titles. Jade Cargill beat Alba Fire. After the match, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi fought off Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, and Blair Davenport. Santos Escobar beat Andrade Cien Almas in the match of the night by far. This meant that Santos Escobar is now the number one contender for the US title, so that should be fun. Hashtag DIY beat Pretty Deadly, meaning it'll be DIY against the Street Profits to determine the number one contender. And in the final segment of the night, Solo Sikoa called out Roman Reigns, who came out and destroyed the new Bloodline. They gave it about 10 minutes, and it was really just 2 minutes of entrances for Roman, and then 8 minutes of him beating the crap out of the Bloodline. So, it's still weird to... they still really haven't confirmed if he's a face now, but judging by the reactions, he's definitely the good guy in this rivalry. And it looks like we're going to get another Bloodline Civil War, only this time Roman Reigns is going to be a battle between two different tribal chiefs. So now it's actually going to be the family versus each other, so that should be real fun. So yeah, a lot of stuff happened at SummerSlam, just a lot of changes, and a lot of new storylines, or we're in new stages of a lot of these storylines, which is always good. So that does it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, make sure all the time. Stay tuned for next week's Versus and next week where we continue our new series, our Disney Infinity 2.0 walkthrough. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts were on SummerSlam and this week's Raw and SmackDown, and where do you think some of these storylines are going. Hope you guys enjoyed. Guy01 and Alexa Bliss, who's still, yeah, she's coming back. Sayonara. Bye, guys.